Everyone told you to pick one thing and go deep. But your mind never worked that way, and that was never actually the problem. You have a list of half-finished courses, a drawer full of supplies for hobbies you burned through in 3 weeks. You started learning guitar, then coding, then a new language, then got obsessed with ancient history for a month, then moved on. People around you noticed. Some called you scattered, some called you unfocused. A few just smiled and said, "Yeah, that's very you." And somewhere along the way, you started believing them. You wondered if something was wrong with you, why you couldn't just commit, why excitement always had an expiration date, why your curiosity felt more like a burden than a gift. Here's what nobody told you. Your brain isn't broken. It's wired for breadth. Psychologists call people like you multipotentialites, but the concept goes deeper than a label. What's actually happening is that your brain releases dopamine not just from mastering something, but from the act of exploration itself. The novelty is the reward. The learning curve is where you feel most alive. Once a skill becomes routine, your nervous system moves on, not out of laziness, but because it's designed to seek the next frontier. You're not quitting things, you're completing phases. You absorb new subjects faster than most people. In school, you could pick up a topic the night before and speak about it with surprising depth, not because you crammed, but because you'd unknowingly connected it to 5 other things you'd already explored. That's not luck. That's how wide-ranging curiosity builds invisible infrastructure in your mind. Others see someone who can't commit. What's actually there is someone who thinks in networks, not in silos. Conversations become a kind of obsession in themselves. You can talk to a musician for an hour, then a scientist, then a chef, and hold your own in all 3. You don't just make small talk, you find real entry points. People sometimes find that unsettling because they can't figure out what you are, but you were never meant to be one thing. You feel guilt around the things you leave behind. The guitar still in the corner, the sketchbook with 7 pages filled. You carry them as evidence of failure. But look closer. You didn't abandon those things. You extracted something from each of them and moved forward richer. Most people never even start. You get deeply bored, but rarely uninspired. Boredom for you isn't emptiness. It's a signal. It means the current territory has been mapped. Your mind is already looking for what's next. That restlessness isn't a character flaw. It's a compass. Here's the deeper truth. The world was built around specialists, but it runs on generalists. The people who changed how we think were not people who did one thing. They were people who let their curiosity move freely and trusted that it was leading somewhere. You were told that scattering your attention was waste, but attention spread across many things isn't scattered, it's wide. So stop trying to shrink yourself into a lane you were never meant to stay in. The goal isn't to pick one interest and abandon the rest. The goal is to build a life wide enough to hold all of it and trust that the mind connecting everything is not unfocused. It's just working on a larger scale than most people can see. You were never too much. You were always just too wide for a narrow world. If that felt like someone finally explained your own mind to you, subscribe. There's more where that came from.